Hello there. So today I'm going to make a gillet, which is kind of like a sleeveless jacket, and I'm going to use my block patterns, and one of the deciding factors on this gillet is the zip at the front. It's going to be as long as the zip at the front. So it's always a good thing to bear in mind that if you are using any accessories, that how they shape and how many you have of them. So on the lines on here I have quite a few. I have like a jacket and I have like a stretch t-shirt. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to be using the jacket, but I'm not going to do anything fitted in any way. So, because I do literally just want it to hang down. Lovely. So that's that. It literally is wider than a t-shirt and not fitted like a jacket. So, but the zip is important. So I'm going to get this cut out and then I'm going to get my fabric out. Now I'll be using black fleece. I love black fleece. So now this is very, very easy to sew. Although I'm sewing it on the serger, it doesn't fray, so I can quite easily just do it with a single stitch on a sewing machine. So lovely. Now I need this folded into 4. Which is easy enough, isn't it? And the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to cheat slightly. I'm going to do 2 back pieces, and then I'm going to cut the difference out on the front. It's just literally because I'm quite lazy. So now the nice thing about fleece material as well is it's a bit like felt, and because it's got so much friction in it, it just doesn't move when you're trimming it. So you can, you know, if you ever wanted to try just to use a weight rather than pins, today is the day, because this is the fabric that will work best with it. So this is the back cut out, and I need to get rid of one back, and then I have the front. So lovely. Now the front's got a lower neckline, and this is where I measured the zip from. So all I need to do now is just do the difference, and then that comes up and joins the neckline. So that's quite simple. I've got 2 fronts and 1 back. I also am going to need a collar. So what I'm going to do is literally cut a rectangle out. I'm not going to measure it because this is the cloth that I held up for that, so I know that this is long enough, and I doubt there's any much use for other bits of cloth. Now I do want 1 pocket in there at least. Oh no, I was lucky. We can have 2 pockets. 2 pockets, we're rich. So this is literally from the top, this is the arm. And I think they're best if you do them in the fleece fabric, although you could just do them in some sort of lining, some sort of cotton. So, and let's see. They they don't really matter if they don't match up completely. Nobody's going to see them. So there are now all my bits. How easy is that? I have my serger literally balanced on the bed. Yeah, I haven't used this for ages, so I did want to get it out. And there we are. I'm going to put all the spare bits in the bin as I go, so that I don't try and sew on just a useless bit. And I'm going to put that on the pile as well, so I know where it is. Now, I think we should start by making the pockets so that we can sew them in. Now, do you know, it's a habit I've had for years. I always used to sew when it was cold in the front room, so that I could pretty much put whatever I was sewing on my lap. So yes, it's just a bad habit, but it's my habit, so I've put all my bits on my lap, you see. Even though it's a beautiful sunny day. Oh, come on, machine, what are you doing? Okay, I'm going to have to switch you off and fix this. I thought I had it set up all nicely, but obviously not. Hiya. So I've literally just pulled this out. I have no idea. But going back to what I said, it doesn't really matter if the pockets don't match up, because this one's just going to be trimmed now. And we want to sew along the bottom and round the sides. And then this will be sewn on the seam. So that's why we're starting it now. Isn't it funny? Don't tell me I can't use my serger. So I switch it off and I sew that, and that's fine. Switch it back on, try to sew this, and no way, Jose. So what it's doing is just pushing these apart. Okay, I'm going to start with the other pocket. Now, as you probably noticed, I'm using red cotton. Now this red cotton is literally just around the outside, but the two black ones are on the inside, as it were. So that from the outside you won't see the red cotton, but it's going to be nice and clear for the video, so that's all good. Lovely, there's one done. And let's see if we can have two pockets. I'm none the wiser. Okay, I'm just going to take it round and start in again. Okay, I'm switching you off again. It's come unthreaded. Gillet part 2. Hello there, so I've refitted my serger and it's working. I must admit, I don't know how long for. two pockets, and no, they don't match up. But this is for me, so I'll be fine. Now the next job I want to do is I want to sew the front onto the back. And I'm going to do the shoulders first. Because of... I have a lot of trouble with fleece, telling which is the wrong side and which is the right side. It's just... there's no point even trying to work that one out. Okay. Now, a lot of this is going to be done on the sewing machine, so I'm going to keep using the serger as long as I can, because I just, you know, find it best. But I did put some oil in there as well whilst I was rethreading it, so fingers crossed that was the problem. But that's fine, that's fine. I'll just go slowly. Now I want to go down the sides and I want to put in a pocket. So what I'm going to do is make a start. Now there's two ways of doing it. I'm going to go down till I get to the pocket. Now I've put the pocket there for a reason, so I know when to stop. Lovely. So all I've done is I've gone over the seam. Now I'm going to remove the front half of the pocket and the front of the gillet. Or, you know, whichever way around it is. Lovely. And then when I come to the bottom of the pocket, I'm literally just going to come off. So I've got a little bit there, which I need to pick up. And then I've got a little bit there, which I need to pick up as well. So I'm going to turn it over. And I am going to start at the bottom. And then I'm going to pick up all two layers of the pocket. And then I'm going to remove the top two layers, which would be the front and probably the front of the pocket. So that's great. And then it's just a matter of pulling this out of the way. And we know it's secured at the top, so... So that is one side done. Gillet 3. So hello there. Yeah, you know, I looked at that and I thought, oh no, what have I done? And basically I should have turned the pocket inside out, but quite an easy fix. So what we were left with was the right side with the seams on the inside of the pocket, so it wasn't quite as tragic as I immediately thought. So let's get this all the right way round, and again we're going to start with sewing the two sides together. And when it's firmly in the machine, I'm going to turn my pocket inside out I'm going to place my pocket so it's a good inch up from the bottom. Lovely. And I'm going to keep sewing until I start sewing the pocket. So it's just going over the seam now, and then I'm going to remove the top of the pocket and the front of the jacket. Lovely, and I'm going to keep sewing till I get to the bottom of the pocket, and then I'm just going to come off. So lovely. Now I'm going to put it round the other way, so all back together, and sew till I get to the bottom of the pocket. Yes, there's a lot to be said for saying point A and point B on the original pattern, isn't there? Lovely, and then I'm going to pick up all 4 bits of fabric. There we go. So that's really good. So then when we turn it inside out, we turn the pocket inside out, and then that's the right way round. But the reason to sort of sew on and sew off is so that we don't get any holes, which will be bad. Any loose bits like that. Okay, so the next job we can do is from the back we can sew on the collar. So, and then on the right side we can just do some top seams on the normal sewing machine. Lovely. Now I am literally, I know I said it was big enough, I'm just checking to see that it's long enough. Now this is the point where the zip goes, so we're going to start sewing from there. I'm just going to have a little think to check that I've got it the right side round, and then I'm going to start sewing. I could sew that bit as well, but I'm not going to. I'm going to do that on the sewing machine. So let's ask this machine nicely if it wants to sew. It probably is going, it's because I don't have to. You said that I didn't need to do this on a serger. Lovely, so fleece has got a nice amount of stretch to it. One thing it does do though is it sort of pulls, so I'm making sure that it doesn't pull because then it will roll, but I'm making sure that it's just oozing around nicely, so it's quite an easy sew this, it really is. And I can just see the top of the front there, so I'm just sewing to the end. There we go. And I'm going to carry on sewing so that it says with threading that I don't need to worry. And then this is going to be folded over on the right side and top stitched. Okay, so that's that machine done. I'm going to get my sewing machine all set up, and then we can move on to putting the zips in and just doing hemming pretty much all around. So I'll be back in a minute. So I normally work on the theory that a good place to start is the bottom if you don't know where to start. Now what I'm doing is I'm just trimming, because they go everywhere and they drive me a bit nutty. And I find it even more annoying with the serger's thread than I do. And in a way it's good to show it because you can see that the red ones are really standing out. So, and I can't really start sewing until I've done that. because they'll just be too bulky. So yes, normally I start at the bottom, but today I'm starting at the top. So we've got this the right way round. We are going to trim off the excess from the collar, which was just a rectangle. And I'm going to fold it round, and so I've got a little rolling hem. I've got about 1/4 centimetre there, and I'm literally going to feel for the seam and sew on the seam, just below the seam. So, and then because of the way of life, what will happen is the foot will kick off the seam. It will just sort of, so it'll actually be quite nice and straight. So the garment is now the right way round, and we're sewing this as if we would be sewing a top seam. Now I haven't adjusted the needle or anything. I could have pushed it over. I just thought, well, I didn't even think actually. And the stitches are set up to be quite loose. So I'm just keeping it taut at the back whilst I go around there, because I want the natural stretch and I don't want it to twist. And now what I'm doing is, because I'm on a flat bit at the back, is in a way I'm kind of pushing it in with my thumb, although obviously I'm not, but I'm holding it so that it's level. And then when I come to the corner again, I will allow it to turn slightly. So we're just coming up to the top of the shoulder, further one. And then we have to give it a little bit of stretch around the corner. Not a lot, but a little bit. Lovely. So we can see that it's twisted slightly, but we can sort that out. Okay, so I'm coming up to the end now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to stop probably 1/2 inch before, and I'm going to make sure that everything's folded in. This is just so that I can get a nicer finish. Now when I did cut this fleece, I didn't intentionally cut it so that the fabric binding is on the outside, but it just happened that it did. So in a way that's a blessing. If I was using a fray fabric, as this is a non-fray fabric, then it might be a bit more of a hindrance because this feels a bit nylon-y. But we make do with what we have. Yeah, when I was younger I always used to make use of that bit, so that I didn't have to hem quite as much. Now what I'm doing is I'm just literally pushing my finger in to roll this into a little tuck, because I just want to seam off. This will be the top of my collar. Now it's quite important to actually give the feet something to grip on when you're sewing little bits like this. Because you do want to sew it right up to the edge, but you know, you've got to give your machine a fighting chance. So that's that done. Make sure that's in a good position to pull, and I can just do the same with the other end. Now you can guess what I'm going to do next. I'm going to do a rolling seam on the sleeves, and I'm going to do a rolling seam on the bottom, and then I've got to sew the zip on. So I really don't know how much to record of that. I suppose the sleeve would be quite interesting because of it's got all those corners. So we've got the garment the right way round. We can just see how simple that collar is, and we can just see where the armhole is as well. So I'm going to turn the garment inside out. What I don't want to do is start at the front that you can see. This is just because I'm a strong believer if it takes you a while to get used to doing the curve. So I'm rolling on the flat before the bottom corner seam, the armpit seam, if that makes sense, and I'm putting it onto the machine, and it literally is, I folded it and I folded it again. But when we come to the armpit, what we have to make sure is instead of just going straight, we have to make sure that we are going to keep its shape. So I've pushed the seam right under, so this is square, and it's just gone over it now. I think you might have heard the pitch change, and I am then going to turn the fabric so that I can go up, rolling it again so that I've got the seam. But what I want to do is, if there is any puckering or if there is any yicky bits, then they are hidden from sight, because this bit I want straight. So it's just a matter of easing it with your fingers, and then I am on the more visible front loop of the thing. And I don't know if I told you that fleece is quite easy to sew in the way that it has a lot of friction, so it sticks together, and it's got natural stretch in it, it's got loads of good. So I'm just coming up to the top now, and again I'm going to get the seam bit level, so you probably can't see, I've got that bunched up, so that's level, and then any puckering is around there. I'm not going to allow the machine to push the excess around. Lovely, lovely. So let's make sure that's all straight, and then I can literally whiz down to the bottom. So, I think the zip is the next bit for the video, and I've made sure that I've kept it together all this time. Now is the time to separate them. Now, I'm sure there's a right way and a wrong way of zipping a gillet, but we're not going to worry about that. So, a male and a female, sorry, that's what I'm talking about. Now what I want to do is I'm going to put the zip right up to the corner, and then I'm going to fold this bit and I'm going to sew over this bit. So, but it's more important that you've got it covered at the bottom than so that I can do the hem. So, very simple. You have a choice. You can change your foot or you cannot change your foot. Now, if you do have another foot, and I'll show you what a zipper foot looks like, because I've got one out ready. How many times do I say that? Because I never get them out. Here we go. So there's all sorts in that drawer, there really is. One day I'll show it to you, because this is a spare room, you know, this is the bed and everything else like that. So if you have a zipper foot, do put it on. If you don't have a zipper foot, that's fine. I'm not putting one on. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to make sure that we've got the fabric in one hand, and we're going to make sure we don't just pull it out of the machine, because that would be silly, wouldn't it? And we're going to line it up, and then this flappy bit we're going to push off to the side. So I will be sewing it, but I'm going to not worry about it really. Now there should be a natural balance point on your foot and your stitches, so we're just going to make use of that. We've got started, and I can see that the foot that I'm using is a normal foot, and it is right up against the stitches, right up against the thing of the zip. So I have got just enough, but what that means is I can use that to brace it, and then I can keep it nice and even and flat. So, and this is a chunky zip. This is designed to be seen, and I am not intentionally using the waft end of the fabric, but it is there. But as it's fleece, I don't need to worry. And the sleeve, the zip is facing towards the garment, so that we can fold it over and then keep these seams covered. It's a lovely sound. So, just coming up to the end now. And I'm going to do a couple of reverse stitches. This is because this is going to be where you get the most wear and tear of the garment. Lovely. So let's do the other one. Now the other one is a bit different because we have to make sure that the zip is out of the way when we're sewing. So we'll get the other side. Okay, I'm going to try and get rid of some of these thready bits, not all of them because that's going to take me all day. What on earth is that? Okay. Well, I wasn't going to do this, but I'm going to actually do this because it's it just needs trimming. So bear with me. Oh, another thing I wanted to say is if you're buying fabric from a shop, don't assume that their lines are straight, because that's another mistake I've made. I've made a garment and I've used their measurements for when they're cutting it, and then I've been severely annoyed with myself because they hadn't cut it straight. So and why didn't I check? And so we're going to turn the zip towards the garment again, and we can start at the bottom or the top depending on where you're comfortable. I'm going to do it this way round so that hopefully you can see, and I'm just going to fold that out of the way. Now obviously if you were using a sewing machine that had a movable needle, then you would probably have to do it this side, because they tend to go in the middle or they tend to go on this side. Now always make sure that you're flat before you're sewing, and I have made sure that I've got my top of my tab, my zip out of the way. So now I'm literally coming down, making sure that the fabric's not stretching underneath, because as we said before, that the fleece has a lot of here. Having a bit of trouble gripping, and it is sort of catching on the zip because I literally am going that close to it. Now we're a good halfway. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make you can do this anywhere actually, it doesn't need to be halfway, it's just I'm doing it now. And then I'm going to move the zip under the foot and out of the way, so that's now at the top. Lovely. And then I'm going to carry on sewing. So making sure that I've got some fabric on that side, and making sure that this is all out of the way and it's not caught up underneath. So there we go. Lovely, a couple of reverse steps, and there we're done. Now I'm going to switch the camera off again. I'm going to do the other arm, and I'm going to start the bottom, and then I will finish the bottom with the camera back on. Okay? So, thank you for that. Ha-ha! So, Gillet 4. Hiya, I'm just literally finishing off the bottom hem. I'll put the camera over there. There's a reason for this. Now I've got most of the threads off, but I find with home sewing I just end up with so many. Now, if you wanted to do a top stitch over the other side of the zip, then that would be great. I must admit I choose not to, just because, well, I saw no reason to. It's quite an easy thing to do, so if you wanted to. One thing I probably will do though is I will put a little tack in just to get the zip bits out of the way. So, but I know, this is why I put the camera over there. I thought, well, save a job, won't it? There you go, a Gillet. Very, very easy sew, very easy to wear, very comfortable. There's no details, no design details or anything on this. It just literally is something to wear on a cold morning, a cold summer morning. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed the video. It's always a pleasure to do. Please subscribe, please like on Facebook, and fingers crossed I'll see you again. And thank you for watching.